Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a different video for you. I'm going to talk through a custom paint job I did on a figure. I took the prototype Boba Fett, the white version, the completely white version, that is essentially the same design of armor and everything like that as he ended up with when we first saw him in Empire, but obviously completely white. And then what I did is I took that completely white figure, I took it kind of to pieces, and I painted individual parts and the figure and repainted it to be basically a Mandalorian Deathwatch Trooper. And as you can see, I mean, it looked pretty damn awesome, all things considered. You know, I mean, I didn't use airbrush tools or any kind of spray paint like that. It was literally acrylic paint and very small brushes, you know, some permanent Sharpie metallic coloured pens to give some details here and there, and you know, do some emblems and that sort of thing, and some weathering, but then basically the rest of it is just you know, acrylic paint, or then like an acrylic wash with surgical spirits to make a weathering wash that you could rub on, or rather paint on, and then wash off, and then keep doing that. And that's where he gets his kind of you know, weathered, battle damaged, you know, been through the wars, been around a bit kind of look. So obviously when I originally painted him, he was the blue and grey scheme of the Deathwatch kind of soldiers, but he had obviously some browns in there for the boots and stuff like that, some various different kind of shades of the kind of black kind of wash to give him that kind of weathered look and some more definition amongst the you know, the greys and the blues and the browns, and then some silvers in there as well, and then obviously you can kind of see the little bits of red accent that are on the emblems, on the shoulder pauldron and on the jetpack lining, and kind of like the chest plate of the Beskar there. You can kind of see that that's the, you know, the ranking system. What I did was I basically looked at some reference photos, whether it was from the Mandalorian TV series, the Clone Wars TV series, you know, comics, that sort of stuff. I just looked at reference materials and artwork and sort of photography that existed, and just kind of went off of that as a guide, and then kind of took some of it, you know, in the way I wanted to do, you know, and in the way I wanted to go, and not so much just keeping to the line. You know, I had an idea and then I went with that, and I let it evolve and develop. And I think the finished product is pretty damn cool. He sits on, you know, he sits on top of my bookcase. So there's a couple of things, obviously. When you paint with acrylic like this, the joints and stuff like that, when you repaint, it does rub the paint away, so that's kind of why I wanted him posed. Also, during the past year we've had, I wanted a project, and I hadn't ever done a repaint kind of custom of an action figure before, so I thought, you know, a Mandalorian would be really cool. So I got the you know, the prototype Boba Fett online, and I repainted him. So I ended up getting just kind of like a cheap version, not the OG original prototype Boba Fett. By no means, I don't think I necessarily would paint that figure, because it's worth quite a lot of money now, I believe. But basically, I got the, you know, the exact same build and stuff like that, just with no Black Series box, and then just repainted it all. And I mean, I think it looks good. Obviously, many people do customs of their action figures, and some people do it very elaborately and are fantastic at it. I you know, by no means do I think I'm professional, but I'm really happy with the end product of this guy. And you know, for the time I spent on it, and to plan it, and then the actual time it took to paint him and do it, was, you know, it was fairly easy, relatively simple. But it was really fun. It was nice to kind of like be creative and stuff like that, and clear my head, and use this kind of project to kind of help me with my headspace by being creative and focusing on something that kind of takes you out of the stressful world that we live in and into the Star Wars universe that's full of possibilities. So I would highly recommend doing this sort of project. If you have a duplicate or a cheap figure or something that's kind of broken and you don't know what to do, you don't want to use it for what it was used to use it for, but you don't want to throw it away, by all means be creative in how you obtain and kind of create and custom a figure. But yeah, I mean, this Mandalorian Repaint custom Deathwatch Trooper turned out really well in my opinion, so I'm glad I did that, and he's going to sit proudly back on top of my shelf for the time being, and hopefully for the foreseeable future. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I hope you kind of take this inspiration to think about doing creative projects yourself to try and help you with your headspace, and really explore your creative side, because on the one hand, like for me, photography and projects and art and stuff like that, it is all things that I love to do as a hobby. It's something that I've always been into and I'm very into now, but I'm also doing it and engaging with it in a way that is really it's really proactive and helpful for my mental health, and I really do think that you should do so too. Not necessarily these projects, but find the things you love and really engage with them, because keeping your mind healthy is arguably the most important thing you can do, because it affects everything you do in life. So I definitely I'm a massive advocate of people taking their mental health seriously and their physical health, but obviously the mental health is it's not, we can't see it, and a lot of the time we tend to forget about it. So I'm going to leave you with this one, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you go away and do some awesome projects and you're inspired by this. So take care, and I'm going to see you in the next one.